Good afternoon, Norman Binkley family. Welcome to the Norman Binkley Kickoff Parent Informational Meeting for the 2021-2022 school year. All right. My name is Mr. Urquhart. I'm the principal here at Norman Binkley Elementary School, and Dr. Wetstein is our assistant principal. We have a lot of information to go over with you today. It's going to go over COVID protocols and just a bunch of different things that we're going to do here at Norman Binkley this year. But it is a lot of information. It's approximately 50 slides, so we're going to run through it pretty quick. All this information will be put in the Binkley News on Sunday. We're also taping this as well, and we will put the recording in the Binkley News on Sunday as well. So if you missed something, don't worry about it. It's fine. You will probably see me the majority of the time during this presentation, but just know we have a Q&A there. And Dr. Wetstein, our assistant principal, is running the Q&A. So if during the presentation you have any questions, we want to answer your questions as quickly as possible. Just post it in the Q&A. And Dr. Wetstein is in the Q&A trying to answer as many questions as you possibly can. So no, when you post questions, we're going to be getting right back to you when you put them in. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. As I said earlier, I'm Mr. Urquhart. I'm the principal here at Norman Binkley. Just to give you a little information about me, this is my 11th year at Norman Binkley. It's crazy. This is my 11th year. I've been here 10 previous years. I started at Norman Binkley in 2011, and I think we've done some great things here. Just a little background knowledge on me. I am an MNPS graduate. I'm actually a graduate of McGavock High School, and I'm a teacher by heart. My mom was a teacher in Metro for around 35 years, and I worked under her. And I started, this is my 21st year in Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools, and I actually was started as a middle school teacher at Donaldson Middle School.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kaylee Wetstein. I'm the assistant principal here at Norman Binkley. I will be coordinating the chat tonight, so if you have questions, please let me know. I will be doing my best to answer them. This is my 6th year here at Binkley. I taught at J.E. Moss several years before that. I'm originally from New Jersey. I went to school in Chicago, and now Nashville is home to my husband, and I have 2 boys, Hunter and Owen. So I look forward to meeting everybody and getting to know our families and our students. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm always here to help.
All right, just to go through our vision real quick, the vision of Norman Binkley is to be an outstanding elementary school that develops lifelong learners and productive citizens who are prepared for college and career. And the way we are, or how we become an outstanding elementary school, is to go above and beyond, which goes to our mission statement in everything we do. All right, and our beliefs, which relate to that beyond principle, are to be kind, to make sure all stakeholders engage in learning, to have high expectations and help everyone succeed, to build opportunities to build community, to have a nurturing, safe environment, and most importantly, we believe diversity unites us. That's a big deal here at Norman Binkley. Now, one of the first things we wanted to do was to let you see our faculty here at Norman Binkley. And I'm hoping most of you actually heard from your upcoming teacher. That was our plan. If you haven't heard from them today, hopefully you should hear from them by the end of the day tomorrow. But we have had, for people who were here last year, we have had some slight changes to our faculty. So I want to go through our faculty right now from pre-K through 4 and some supports to make sure you know everybody. All right. In our pre-K blended class, Miss Alush is returning, and she has her 2 pairs there with her, which is our Miss Habib and Miss Wampa. And our new to Norman Binkley, we have our new pre-K teacher, Miss Eck, or Dr. Eck, excuse me, and her pair in the room, which is Miss Sullivan. All right. And our kindergarten team, we have Miss Montez, Miss Chavez, Miss Wayland, Mr. Dickerson, Miss Mulvey, and Miss Winecoop. In 1st grade, we have Miss Andriata, and some of you may know her from Miss Kinchin. She was in kindergarten last year, moving up to 1st grade. 1st grade also has Miss Fixel, which she was at Norman Binkley last year, but she was an exceptional education teacher last year. We have Miss Frazier. We have Miss Hoffmeyer. Miss Hoffmeyer was an EL teacher last year. We have Miss Johnson, and we also have new to Norman Binkley, Miss Ponitsky. All right, and she will be new. In second grade, we have Miss Brown. We have Miss Kakal, which some of you remember as Miss Wachowski. She got married this summer, so congratulations to her. We have Miss Coble, Miss Thigpen, Miss Saxton, and we also have a new teacher to Norman Binkley, Miss Manuel. In third grade, for people who don't know, third grade and fourth grade are departmentalized, which means we have some teachers that just do reading and social studies, and then we have teachers that just do math and science. So our three reading teachers, reading and social studies in third grade, are Miss Aranda, Miss Fine, and new to Norman Binkley, Miss Scales. And our three math and science teachers are Mr. Brewer, Miss Martin, and Miss Elmore. And then with fourth grade, again, which is departmentalized, Miss Bays Lavecchio is a reading and social studies teacher, and Miss Derryberry is a reading and social studies teacher. Our two math and science teachers are Miss Danley and Miss Hughes. And if you recognize Miss Hughes, she was Miss Lawrence last year, and she's now Miss Hughes. And new to Norman Binkley, we have Miss Siders. Miss Siders will actually teach all subjects in fourth grade, so she's the only one not departmentalized. She is teaching reading, math, social studies, and science. All right. And most of our related arts team is staying the same. We have Miss Bingham and Mr. Hardesty in PE, Miss Malone in art. We have Miss Pearson in music. Our library is the same with Mr. Martin and Miss McGee. And Miss Whitmore, we are bringing technology back, so Miss Whitmore will be the technology teacher. All right. And with our EE team, we have Miss Curtis, Miss DeMayo, Miss Lopez, and Miss Sulis. All right. And Miss Cologne coming back. All right. And Iran Flory also as being our occupational therapist. All right. And our EL team, and we actually have spent a little bit more money this year and hiring some more EL teachers to Norman Binkley. We have Miss Burks, Miss Comfer, Miss Gladson, Miss Golding, Miss Nichols, Miss Peary, Miss Wilson, and Miss Paisley. And as it relates to our leadership support in office, our Dean of Students is the same this year. Miss Bryant is coming back. Our literacy coach is Miss Brewington. Miss Huff is our numeracy coach. Our SIT lead, school improvement team lead, is Miss Dryden. Miss Waite is our advanced academics teacher. Miss Martin is still our school secretary. We do have a new general assistant, as you can see here with Miss Fitzgerald, and Miss Hartman is still our Spanish translator. All right. And our counselors are both back here at Norman Binkley. We have Miss Jacobs and Miss Rollins. And one face that you do not see here, we do have a new position called advocacy coach, which relates sort of to counseling, and that person's name is Kirk Bell Cox. You will see him around the building. He is new. He was just hired about a week or two ago. So that is someone else that is new to Norman Binkley. All right, so we're going to go over a lot of new topics today. We're going to start off with COVID protocols, and as most of you probably heard today, that the COVID protocols did slightly change today. It's been all over the news, so we had to change our PowerPoint from earlier today, but we are actually, that is in here, so I'm going to go through the COVID protocols. For people who were at Binkley last year, they're not a lot different. There's some differences, but it's very similar to last year. All right. Now this is a change, and this is what changed today. Masks are required. There is now a mask mandate that actually was put into place by Dr. Battle today. So masks are required for all students over their nose and mouth indoors and on the bus. So they're not required at recess, but they really required indoors and on the bus. Of course, we hope that all students will come with a mask, but we also have a large quantity of free masks that we give out upon arrival if students don't have them. We will have sanitizing stations in every classroom, and we also have sanitizing stations in all hallways. We will social distance as much as possible. With CDC guidelines, recommend 3 to 6 feet, and that's what you will see in the classroom. We do have a quarantine room for 6 students. And one of the biggest thing we do from a relation of contact tracing, students are basically in pods of 2 to 4. So they're assigned seats in all areas, and the assigned seats basically relate to all homeroom seating charts. So students will be primarily traveling in pods of 4 the majority of the day. And that's the way it'll work. It'll go from the homeroom class to reading to math to social studies to science to specials, and they'll stay sort of with those 4 students. If they move to other classes, they'll stay in groups of 2 to 4. All right. The only exception to that is our MTSS academic time. And we will be avoiding sharing supplies as much as humanly possible. All right. Now, the visitor protocols are also pretty much the same. Only visitors with an educational reason will be allowed in the school this year, which would be like student teachers, people from Vanderbilt, things of that nature. They are allowed in the building, but for a parent going to eat with their child in the cafeteria, that is not allowed at this time. Parents must have a scheduled educational appointment to enter the building. We must know. So S-teams, IEP meetings, things like that, they can be in the building with the parent coming in. Outside of that, it's basically will not happen. You can always call and ask about it, but more than likely, it probably won't be able to occur. And if visitors do come in the building at this time, this starts tomorrow, come in the building, they must be wearing a mask covering their nose and mouth. Right. With the lunchroom, they will continue that with those assigned seats in pods of 4. And last year we had the cafeteria, when we had school last year, the cafeteria tables were at 25% capacity. We will be at 50% capacity this year. As we got bigger, we'll be at 50%, so there will be a max of 6 classes in the cafeteria at a time. Previously, we had at times 10 to 11 classes in normal years, so we're going to hold it at 6. That is the way it works. So basically when they are eating, with most students, when they're eating, they're usually quiet. Then they put their mask back up and they talk. We do want to have students have the ability to talk in the cafeteria. So that is the way we do it. Tables will be disinfected after each class arrives. So a class comes in, they leave, we'll disinfect it for 5 minutes, and the next class will come in. All right. As it relates to the classroom environment, as I just stated, children will be wearing masks indoors, so of course in the classrooms. Students will be spread out as much as space allows, so most classes are set up that have desks in small groups of 4 at around 3 to 4 feet apart. Right. And as I said previously, contact tracing with pods of 2 to 4 students in class at a time. So students should primarily only have contact with students in their 2 teams. So we have teams in the grade levels. To give an example, in kindergarten, for parents that are in Miss Mulvey's class, her team is Miss Mulvey's class and Mr. Dickerson's class. She'll primarily only be with Miss Mulvey's class, but she may, like for recess, it may be Mulvey and Dickerson at some times, just to give an idea. As far as class sizes right now, I'm not going to go through each of them, but if you can look at the specifics, most of our grade levels are between 18 to 20 at this time in the classes. All right. And just to give you an idea of what the classes look like, I wanted to give you sort of a desk setup to see how that 3 or 4 feet is set up. Just to give an idea of how the pods work. I think the picture on the far right of this sort of shows that setup when we're setting up the classrooms. We did not want to bring rows back. I don't think rows are really conducive to learning. So we wanted to create pods to where students could talk to one another so they can have those collaborative educational discussions. So that's the way we have set it up, because in order for students to learn, they have to be able to talk. So we do have these pods of 4 sort of set up in a way to where students can talk about the educational content that we're going through. I think that's very important, and I don't think with rows you can do that. So that is sort of the reasoning around this setup. There are a few different ways you can do it, and if you come to meet the teacher when you go into the classrooms, you'll probably see some of those setups that get to that 3 to 4 feet apart, which hits CDC guidelines. All right. Recess will continue to occur, and remember, recess, if it is outside, which if it's not raining and it's not extremely cold outside, it will be. Masks are not required outside during recess. But students will go to recess as teams, so no more than two groups of students. As I told you, have the 2 classrooms together will be in one recess area at a time. There will be no areas that will have 5 or 6 classes in there. It'll be 1 or 2 in each recess area. If we do recess inside, masks will be required. All right. Now, we've gotten a lot of questions about exposure, if someone tests positive, things of that nature. So I want to sort of go over that. And just to give a general viewpoint, based on last year and us doing this last year, we actually did not have any confirmed spread in the building last year, which I thought was a great positive. I mean, we were here for over half the year, and we did not have any confirmed cases of spread. So I did think what we did last year was effective, and my hope is it will continue to be effective this year. But one thing we need from you is, if your child is sick, to keep them home. And one of the things I wanted to talk about here was what is considered exposure, and then what are some of those symptoms to look for with your child, that if they have these symptoms, you may want to keep them home for the day. So what is considered exposure is if your child is within 6 feet for 15 plus minutes of someone that got COVID within a 24-hour period. So that is what exposure means. Now, sometimes kids get sent home just because they have some higher low-risk symptoms. So for a high-risk symptom, if they have one high-risk symptom, if they have a fever of a 100.4, chills, vomiting, a new, and I like to say consistent cough, it's got to be consistent, not just coughing 1 or 2 times, shortness of breath or new loss of taste or smell. If that happens and they come and they have one of those high-risk symptoms, we will have the nurse will be here, and they will probably call you to come pick up your child. And of course, if you have this happen at home, you would not send them. If your child has 2 low-risk symptoms, which would be fatigue, muscle ache, sore throat, diarrhea, congestion, headache, if you have 2 of those are low-risk ones, then we would send you home as well. That would be actually considered a quarantine, even though you're not positive for COVID or been around someone with COVID, you are exhibiting COVID symptoms and either a high risk or multiple low risk symptoms. So just know that sometimes can cause a quarantine as well. And for us last year, all of our quarantines were related to symptoms. If you provide written consent on a permission form, your child could also be COVID tested at school. More information will come about that later, but you will get a form on the first day where you can give permission for it. We do have rapid tests in the building. All right, and the last bullet is a new form of information, which I do think is important. I think with the mask mandate, some people are for it, some people are against it, and I respect everybody's opinion on it. But I will say one positive of the mask mandate is in a K-12 indoor classroom setting, the close contact definition now excludes students who are within 3 to 6 feet of infected students if both were wearing a mask. Now that's new information, that's from the CDC, that is something different. So let's say we have 2 students in a classroom, both are wearing masks. If one gets COVID, last year you would have to quarantine the other child if they were in 6 feet. Now, if they're both wearing masks, you do not have to quarantine. That is new CDC guidance. And that was not the case last year. That is new this year. Right. So if you're exposed to someone with COVID, basically you are put on a 10-day quarantine, 10 days after the date of the first positive COVID test. And if you take a test after day 5, if you take a PCR test if your child takes the PCR test after day 5, they can return day 8. They can return a little bit earlier. That is something that can happen as well. If you're in exposure, even though you get a 10-day quarantine, you can return after day 8 if your child tested negative on day 6 or after. All right. If we have a confirmed COVID-19 case, people who get COVID, they're on a 10-day quarantine. They can return after 10 days as long as they have been 24 hours symptom free. And I don't have it in here, but another thing there, of course, if you are confirmed as a COVID-19 case and you have COVID, the Metro Health Department will end up calling you, and they have to give a bill of, they have to send a letter to our nurse stating that it's okay for you to return. So there is actually, that's not on here, that is something. You do have to get confirmation to return. All right. When it comes to communication of a COVID case or students who are exposed, so if there's a positive COVID case in the building, of course, we will contact the family of the child that is positive and go through the quarantine protocols. We would then contact all of the students that were in the exposure. If they were considered exposed, we would call their parents and let them know about the 10-day quarantine. And then third, we would send out a general notice to all families to let them know that we did have a COVID case in the building. If you did not get an exposure letter, that means your child was not exposed. So if you get that letter, it doesn't mean your child was in the exposure level, it just means something happened in the school. So once we send the letter, that means you weren't in the exposure realm. And I will say we send those letters, the third step, we send those on remind. So if you're not on the school-wide remind, that is something you want to get on so you can make sure you get those letters. All right, now we're going to move on from COVID protocols and start off with arrival and dismissal info. All right, with K4 arrival, for people who have been here at Norman Binkley over the last few years, it's not changing. So for a K4 arrival, you will enter on the West Longdale side of the building, and you will stay in the right lane. You will stay in the right lane. When you get to the front, we will dismiss, we will stop the line, and we will dismiss all students from their cars from the front of the line to the back of the line. So either myself or Dr. Wetstein will walk down the right lane. I'm sorry, y'all are in the left lane. We'll walk down the right lane, and then we'll have our thumb up. When we have our thumb up, you get out of the car. Okay, that is the way it works. Y'all come out, then we'll roll everybody out, and we move all the other cars up. If everybody gets out through the entire lane, it can run fast. If they don't, it runs slow. I will say for a traffic portion, once you exit, if you turn left onto West Longdale, we ask that you turn onto Edgeview before you get to Danby. Otherwise, it causes a cluster, and almost every year we have 1 or 2 wrecks there. So I would suggest just turning onto Edgeview so we don't have a wreck. For a pre-K arrival, it happens on the Wofford side of the building. So you see the entrance there. We will have 2 lines open on Wofford. So you'll come up to the other side of Wofford. We'll have a stop sign there where you stop, and we will, so with pre-K, you have to sign your student in. So we'll have one of the pre-K teachers come to your car, have you sign in your child will get out, and we'll have people out there that will walk your child into the building. They will actually enter at the entrance at the end of Wofford. We'll do about 6 to 8 cars, then roll them out, and they'll actually exit on Wofford as well. And then we'll do the next 6 to 8 cars. All right. For dismissal, and I'm going to primarily focus on the car router portion with this. We dismiss K4 on the West Longdale side of the building. We will use both lanes at dismissal to get all the cars in. If you're inside, we will be calling students on the intercom, and they will come through the side door and just walk out to your car is the way it works. I will say on Meet the Teacher Night, we are giving out car rider tags. I think it's important to have your car rider tag on the first day. So if you come to meet the teacher, you can get that car rider tag and be prepared for this process. Right. And pre-K dismissal, that happens at 2 o'clock. K4 is at 3 o'clock, but pre-K dismissal is at 2 o'clock. Dr. X class will dismiss on the West Longdale side, and Miss Alucia's class will dismiss on the Wofford side of the building. All right. Now with all of that arrival and dismissal procedures, just let you know, this Binkley News this coming Sunday is going to be big and have a lot of information, and we'll have those maps of arrival and dismissal and the procedures to follow, because I gave a very general description at the on the Binkley News. So be prepared to look at that, and you'll know exactly what you need to do on the first day when you come. All right. We also have our bus stops. So we have 5 buses at Norman Binkley. If you're on our Route 1, it's the black rectangle. Route 2A, red triangle. 2B, yellow star. 3A, blue square. And 3B, green square. We always say be outside 20 minutes before scheduled time and be patient. We do have a link there to find your bus stop. And like I said, on Meet the Teacher Night, we actually will have a transportation station to where we'll have someone there if you want to find out what bus you ride and, you know, get an approximate time of when the bus will be there. You can do that at Meet the Teacher Night. We'll be ready to give you that information. We do have a YMCA Fund Company for before and after care. Before care, this is only for kindergarten through 4th grade. Before care is 6:30 to 7:45, and after care is from 3 to 6 o'clock. We will have a rep from YMCA Fund Company at Meet the Teacher Night. So if you haven't signed up, we still have spaces. I think we have 22 people who have signed up so far. If you have not signed up, you can come there and they'll help you get you signed up and ready to go. All right. Now we're going to move on to a little information about our new ELA curriculum.
Hi, my name is Megan Brewington, and I'm the literacy coach here at Norman Binkley. And we've been working really hard this summer to get ready for students to come in and for teachers to teach our new reading curriculum. And we're really excited about it. It really aligns with the belief system that we already have here at Binkley, that every child is capable of greatness. And so you're going to see that we are going to be really challenging students this year through this reading curriculum. It's different in curriculums that we've used in the past. We're going to be focusing on building students' knowledge of the world, helping build vocabulary, lots of science and social studies integration, and then we're also going to be teaching those reading skills and writing skills through that content-rich curriculum. And one of the things that we're most excited about is the huge emphasis on not just teaching kids to be strong readers, but to be critical thinkers, skilled writers, and excellent communicators. A huge piece of instruction this year will revolve around teaching kids to listen to each other and to speak about what they're reading. So we're really excited about that component. Just to kind of give you a preview of some of those units of study or modules that they're called in our new curriculum. In kindergarten, we're going to begin with a unit on the 5 senses, and just kids are going to learn what those are and how our 5 senses help us learn about the world around us and how they help us learn from books. It's a really exciting unit to start in kindergarten. the books that they're reading start out with some basic, like what are the five senses, and then we bring in some of those classic children's literature books where there's lots of bright colors and rhythm and rhyme, and it's a really cool unit. The next one that they go to is all about farm animals and storytelling, and they'll learn to write a narrative, and so we're really excited about the kindergarten units. First grade starts their curriculum off with a journey around the world where they get to meet through books children from different countries and how they get books and learn to read. And then they go into a unit about animals and all the different features that animals have that help them survive. And so that's a really fun unit that first graders love. Second grade, it's hard to pick a favorite, but second grade's first unit is really exciting too. They're going to learn all about the 4 seasons and how our world changes, and they'll do this not just through literature, but also a study of visual art and see paintings of different seasons. And then they'll also read some books about how the characters change and overcome a challenge. And so it's really neat to see the 2 sides of change. And then in their next unit, this one is so fun. They head out west and read several tall tales about Johnny Appleseed and John Henry, and also get a little bit of nonfiction, reading about American bison. Third grade is all about encouraging that curiosity and exploration. They start under the sea and learn all about different sea creatures and different scientists that have explored the sea. And then they head out to outer space and learn about different missions to space and like roles of astronauts. And then finally, the 4th grade unit, their first unit, is called A Great Heart, and it begins with by reading a few biographies of some amazing people who showed courage and bravery, and they talk about what it means to have a great heart. And then on the other side, they learn what it means to have a great heart, literally, and they study the circulatory system. So that's a really fun unit where 4th graders get to explore lots of figurative language. And then they have a really fun unit after that where they learn about surviving in the wild, and they read about nature and some of the extreme weather and things that happen in nature. So it's a really exciting curriculum for us, lots of different topics that kids are going to get excited about and want to know more about, and we get to teach those reading skills while building knowledge of topics that kids are already interested in. One thing that's different about this curriculum is that it's not a textbook. We're using fiction and nonfiction children's books that kids are going to have in their hands, real books, rather than just like excerpts or snippets that we often see in textbooks. It also allows us to build a collection of books so that kids can really dive deep into the content and grow that vocabulary, and it's not just kind of a one story in a textbook. I mentioned earlier, all of our units have visual art that's going to help students kind of build their background knowledge about different places around the world, and also reinforces those skills that we use in reading, where we're looking closely at different details and asking questions, and they'll use that when they look at art. We plug in videos and photographs, maps, all different kinds of resources in addition to the books. One thing that makes this curriculum special as well is how it engages families. So each time we start a new unit, be looking for a family tip sheet that comes home that tells you all about the different questions that we're going to be asking our students and the different topics that we're going to be exploring. And it also has a book list if you want to continue to learn about these topics at home. But be prepared for your child to be curious about the things that we're learning about and to develop a love of learning, because this curriculum certainly inspires our students to be curious and to love learning. And we will be sending more information home about our new reading curriculum, but we just wanted to give you kind of an overview and something to look forward to. Thanks.
All right, and we're now going to move in just some information for the beginning of the year. All right. As it relates to school supplies, if you've seen in the Binkley News, we've had the school supplies list there. There's a button in the Binkley News that you can just push and you'll see all the school supplies for the school. I will say students will utilize their own school supplies whenever possible. That's going to be what we're going to try to do. That'll be our focus. There will be a few exceptions, but that's what will be the primary thing that we will do. And school supplies will travel with students to specials. So to keep them to where they're only using their same school supplies, their primary school supplies will be taken to specials with them, just to give an FYI.
Hey everyone, I'm just going to go over one of the most asked questions, dress code. We expect our students to wear a collared shirt, a t-shirt, or a sweater, but it needs to be solid, so that's one color. That means no stripes, no writing on it, no special pictures. I know some collared shirts come with a little tiny animal or symbol on that. That's totally fine. If your family ever has issues with standard schools attire and needs some support, please reach out to us and we'll do our best to help. You can also wear sweatshirts. Sometimes the classrooms get a little bit cold. It's always nice to dress, in layers. So you can send your child with a sweatshirt. We would love to see Norman Binkley shirts, Croft Middle School shirts, and Overton High School shirts as well. So students can wear those on Spirit Days, which are on Fridays, and we have a whole list of Spirit Days that we celebrate throughout the year. But they may wear their Binkley shirt any day, anytime throughout the year. Oh, and dresses, of course, as long as they are appropriately long, are welcome. Again, they have to be a solid color. As for bottoms, it's pants, shorts, capri pants, skirt, shorts, or jeans on special occasions. So you can wear any of those solid color pants throughout the week. You could also wear the shorts as long as your skirt or your dress is has an appropriate length. You can wear that as well. As for jeans, that is reserved for Fridays and when you're wearing a Binkley shirt for Spirit Day. So we're trying to keep our students back in standard school attire this year. So we're shooting for no jeans. If your child wears leggings, they must be under a dress or a skirt. And lastly, shoes and outerwear. We know tennis shoes, sneakers are the best shoes. Your children will be on the playground. They'll be going to PE. We don't want any broken ankles here, so no high heels here at school. Even open-toe shoes and flip-flops can be dangerous if students are running. So let's make sure that our students are wearing closed-toed shoes.
All right. As Norman Binkley, we want to be the best communicators that we can possibly be. So these are the school communication platforms that we have. And I know in looking at the Q&A, we've had a lot of people bring up the Remind app. The Remind app, we have a school-wide Remind program that we do, and then we have the individual class. I will say with the Remind app, this is probably the best way that you can communicate with your individual teachers and keep up to date with what your child is doing in the class. We also have a school-wide one. I will say with the school-wide one, if we're sending quick information during the week, we will use Remind. That's usually what we use it for. Remind is quick information that we want to get out to you. In a text, we'll use the Remind app. We also post a lot of things on Facebook. We do use Twitter and Instagram. Blackboard, we've always used Blackboard. I've just never really brought it up. Blackboard is what, if you get a text on the weekend for the Binkley News, if you've noticed it, that's actually a text from our Blackboard system. So the Blackboard is the call out system. It's what I text the Binkley News on. So if it's a weekend and it's on a Sunday and I'm sending out the information on Sunday, Blackboard will be the primary way to communicate with you. It has all your information. Everything that's in Infinite Campus that we have on you and your child, that's where they get the phone numbers, and it automatically goes to the phone numbers that are in the system. So that's where the Binkley News goes out. And be prepared every Sunday afternoon. I do send a lot of information out. That's through a SMORE newsletter. So please, to keep up to date with what's going on at Norman Binkley, read the Binkley News every Sunday afternoon. All right. So attendance matters, guys, and we want to get our attendance rate up, and we would love to see all of our students here every day or as much as possible. So in previous years, we stopped last year, but we've done it in the past. We've always opened the door at 7:30. We're going to try to do that again. For early arrival, if you want to try to avoid the crowd and a few people come in early, we let a few buses come in early. If you want to come at 7:30, from 7:30 to 7:45, and this is only K4. You can come in the side door on West Longdale. We're not going to do that on the first day, though. That'll start after the first day, but after the first day, we will start and let some people come a little early. That allows us to get arrival done a little bit quicker. So 7:30 to 7:45, we will allow some buses and some families to drop off and come in the side door. Regular arrival will be at 7:45 to 8 o'clock, and at that point you come in the front door, and those arrival procedures I talked about earlier related to that. We will start morning announcements in the classrooms at 7:55, and tardy slips will begin given out at 8:01. Last year I was pretty lenient on it, being a pandemic and the issues with COVID. I was pretty lenient on when people dropped off. We need to get kids into classrooms and education rolling more normal. So we will consider someone tardy at 8:01. We may be lenient with the first week, but come week 2, we will really enforce that. All right. And when it relates to your child getting in trouble for being absent, when you have 5 unexcused absences or more, that's when you'll get your first truancy notice. So please work with us, send in doctor statements, contact us so we can try to avoid those unexcused absences as much as possible. As you see at the bottom, we are here to support you. Communication is key, so just let us know anytime your child is absent. All right. As you know, Meet the Teacher Night is going to be this upcoming Monday, August the 9th, and we're going to do it from 2 to 6 o'clock. And we tried to stagger it. Usually we do it. In the past, we've done it from 4 to 6, but to try to help social distance and to make it a little less crowded, we extended it to 2 to 6. I will say for families, if you are available and you're not working, we figured 4 to 6 was more for the parents who are working and are unavailable earlier in the day. That's sort of that 4 to 6 group. If you are a parent that actually can come earlier between 2 and 4, I would appreciate it if you came at that time. I think it will lessen the crowd from 4 to 6. So we're trying to stagger it to give more room and space as we come to Meet the Teacher Night. We're going to have a lot of things at Meet the Teacher. If you want yard signs for your yard, we're going to have those, magnets for your cars, cups, etc. You want some Binkley swag, we have it to help promote us in the neighborhood. What will happen on Meet the Teacher Night, you're going to be able to meet your child's teacher. And the biggest thing we want to do that night, and I know I've brought this up in the Binkley News, parents aren't allowed in the building on the first day. So your child's going to have to walk to their class on the first day. And I think the Meet the Teacher Night is a great way to help teach your child where to go on that first day. We'll have some people in the front to help on the first day, but I think if we can walk in on Meet the Teacher, show them where their class is so they know where to go, I think that will help on the first day. You're going to be able to drop off your school supplies. We have a scavenger hunt that has different rooms and activities or places to go to. We put that in the Binkley News. Please look at it. I'll put it in there again this upcoming week. When you go to your child's classroom teacher, you'll get a one-pager about your child's teacher. We will talk about communication platforms, so we will have people there if you're struggling to set up a Remind account, as I saw some in the Q&A. We will have people there available to try to help you set up that account. And also another thing, and I think this is going to be very important this year, we want to keep that communication up with families. And for you to really monitor your child's grades and what's going on in the classroom, creating a family portal account will be very helpful to do that. And it actually, you'll have a student dashboard on there where you can actually see your child's assessments quickly. Instead of waiting for us to send it home, you can actually see it in the family portal. So I would suggest we will have someone there available to help you set up a family portal. Do it on Meet the Teacher night. We'll have a transportation station to give bus rider information and car rider tags. Big thing at Meet the Teacher, please tell your teacher how your student or how your child will get home daily, and even more importantly, how your child will get home on the first day. That really helps with the confusion. The first day is always the hardest day with transportation, and the more we know where your child or how your child is going home, the better. And a lot of people do different things on the first day, so having that communication right off the bat will be extremely helpful. Also with kindergarten through second grade, in third and fourth, we will be assigning students laptops directly to the student. But in K2, they'll have a laptop in the classroom, but we won't be sending it home, and it won't be directly connected, assigned to the student. If you would like the laptop assigned to your students so they can take it home 2 or 3 days a week to work on some of our programs, I'm going to be honest with my children at Binkley, I will ask for it to be assigned so I can work with my child on some of our educational programs at home. If that's something that you do want, you're a kindergarten through second grade parent, please talk to your child's teacher. We'll have a form to fill out, and if you do that, we'll actually assign the computer directly to your child, and your child can take it home a few days a week and actually work on some of our programs. We'll probably ask you to fill out a migrant survey because that's something we always have to do. And you can ask some questions, and we'll have a PTA booth there. It's going to be some community partners. So we look forward to seeing you at Meet the Teacher Night Monday. All right. So just to remind you of the dates of the first day of school. So next Tuesday, August the 10th is the first day of school. On August the 10th and 11th, pre-K dismissal will be at 10:30 and kindergarten dismissal will be at 11:30. And we won't have any fun company for kindergarten on Tuesday and Wednesday, primarily because first through fourth grade are actually are still at the school. Fun company will begin for kindergarten on Thursday. All right, on the first 2 days, on the 10th and 11th, grades first through fourth will dismiss at 3 p.m. So they'll dismiss early. And on August the 12th, pre-K dismisses at 2 p.m. and grades kinder through fourth dismiss at 3 p.m. All right. As it relates to the cafeteria and breakfast, what we'll have, last year we basically had breakfast in the classroom where every kid would pick up breakfast when they walked in the door. It will be a little different this year. Pre-K through second grade will continue to be breakfast in the classroom. Actually, the teachers will have breakfast in the room. This year we picked it up in the front. This coming year, they will actually have it in the classroom. Pre-K through second will do breakfast in the classroom at the beginning of the year. Third and fourth grade for breakfast will actually go through the cafeteria line, similar to what we did over previous years. So just be prepared for that. Eventually, third and fourth grade will also go to breakfast in the classroom. There's some supplies we are missing from the district in order to implement it at the very beginning of the year. As it relates to technology. All right, so as it relates to laptops, if you have an MMPS laptop and charger at home, bring it back to school on Meet the Teacher Night or the first day of school. All right, and if you're, and I just said this earlier, if you're pre-K through second grade student, laptops will stay at school daily. You can request it to go home. If you do so, we will assign it to your child. Third and fourth grades, you can take the laptop home any night as long as your parent approves. But I will say there's a little bit more financial responsibility to laptops this year, especially if you lose it or break it and you don't report it. That is when MNPS will hold you responsible for the laptop costs. All right. We do have a lot of educational programs that are available for students, just like we've had in the past. I know for my children at Norman Binkley, I have a second grader and a fourth grader, and these made a huge impact on their their education last year. So Lexia Core 5 is our primary reading program online, and iReady is our math one, but we do have it for reading. Imagine Learning is there for our EL students, and we also have AR as our reading program that we do. All these are great. You will hear a lot more about them as the year goes on. All right. All right. As far as it relates to getting involved, we do have a lot of school offerings. Just to give you an idea, library checkout will be back to normal as it was 2 years ago. Our Ignite Advanced Academics program and enrichment will be going forward. We'll have Encore 2 days a week, and we'll have the Ignite program 3 days a week. Field trips as of now, unless things change, are allowed at this time. We know the COVID pandemic has had some has caused some students some mental struggles and some trauma. We do have a lot of employees here that are here to help. We do have 2 school counselors. We actually have 2 Vanderbilt school-based therapists here at Norman Binkley that can help your child if needed. We have a social worker. And as I said earlier, we have a new advocacy coach as well. So we have a lot of supports here. If your child's experiencing trauma and needs some counseling and support, please let us know. We do have a lot of resources for that. Our exceptional education program, speech language therapy, and occupational therapy will continue. All right. And our related arts are basically the same and will continue. We are on basically a 6-day rotation. So parents will get art once a week, music, PE twice, technology once a week, and library, school counseling, and social emotional learning sort of go together in the rotation, and that happens once on a 6-day rotation. All right, and at the Meet the Teacher night or any other time, we would love for you to join our PTA. You see the link there that joined the PTA. It's $7 per member. The first meeting of PTA is August the 24th at 6:30 p.m. And there is a family playground meet and greet on August the 17th with more info coming soon. All right, we are going to bring back our after school activities. Those things are coming back. One thing we are going to have, and this will be K4, we had funded it through federal money. We're going to have a phonics boot camp K4. We're going to probably do it September and October is our plan. So we're going to do about 12 weeks of sort of intense phonics program to try to catch some kids up. We will continue to have our EL reading club that we've had in previous years. And we are going to continue to have some of those teacher-led clubs that we've had in the past, like art club, debate club, etc. All of those clubs are coming back. With our teacher-led clubs, we have them actually turn in interests of something they would like to teach students or do with students. So those teacher-led clubs are coming back this year. They won't start until after Labor Day, but they are returning. And we expect Good News Club to be back as well. All right. One of the things we wanted to focus on this year was getting kids motivated to learn. So we do have a big PBIS incentive program coming this year, and it will be done through the live school program, and you at home will be able to track your child's points. All right. So what we are going to do is give above and beyond live school points. So students can earn points for behavior, academic achievement, going above and beyond, etc. And then they can celebrate that success by using points from the Bink Mart, from a block party, and other school-wide or grade level events. One thing I'm really happy about, we are buying around 300 Norman Binkley t-shirts for students that have our Above and Beyond bank that says I go above and beyond at Norman Binkley, so students can actually earn those shirts by earning points by behaving, going above and beyond on the programs, the online programs. There's many different things that they can do to earn points, but we're actually going to do points both for behavior and academic. AR would be one that you can earn points for as well. All right, guys. So that is the end of our presentation today. So I know some people have been putting questions in the Q&A throughout this presentation. So we're now at the end. If people want to, if we can discuss some of those that have been presented there. So Dr. Wettstein, do you want to review over any questions or ones that may be good to share?
It has been such a pleasure getting to know so many of our families in the Q&A tonight. So just a couple questions that have come up a few times. First of all, if you're having any trouble with Remind, it would be you can on Monday when you meet the teacher, they'll help set you up. So if you're having trouble with that, we'll make sure you get access to Remind. Some of the other questions, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling to make sure that I bring these up. What about for students who are having trouble wearing a mask? Will there be mask breaks? That's a great question. I was constantly impressed by the resilience of our students last year. We thought it was going to be a little bit troublesome for some of our kids to wear masks, and I was just constantly impressed. They will get a break when they're eating, as well as drinking from a water bottle. If I think something that you should send with your child every day is a reusable water bottle. That way our water fountains will be hooked up again, but again, bring a water bottle. And our students did go, you know, when they go outside for recess, they are not required to wear their mask when they are outside. However, if you have a child who needs a mask break, we are reasonable people. And so if we have support staff or counselors available, they can take them outside into the courtyard or onto the playground and give them a few minutes to readjust, regulate, and then go back to class. So I think that's a great question. But again, we actually did not have any trouble with students refusing to wear masks last year. And for IEP meetings, 504 meetings, S-teams, are they in person or are they virtual? They can still be virtual. However, they can also be in person. So I highly suggest talking to your case manager or the counselor when scheduling meetings. We can still continue some of those meetings virtually. And we will continue some of those meetings virtually. So it just kind of depends on the meeting. Somebody wanted to know how many students are here. We are a little less than 600. Let's see. Ooh, trying to scroll. Question about laptops. It is your discretion for K through 2 if you keep it at home. If you keep it at school, if you want to take it home to practice on the weekends. That's just a discussion you have with your teacher, so you sign the right paperwork. If you are a 3rd and 4th grader, we are expecting students to be responsible and charge their laptops at night. So make sure you're reminding your child to charge that laptop so it's ready to use the next day. Our nurse, her name is Megan Mendez. She will be here the vast majority of the day. And so if you have questions about something specific, you can just call the main office and they will patch you through to Nurse Megan. And she should be here on Monday. So if you have questions specifically for her, she'll be able to answer them to the best of her ability. Let's see. Any other questions that I wanted to go over? Oh, there was a question about Schoology. Schoology will be used in a gradebook capacity. So that's one of the ways that you could also, if you're not in the parent portal, you can use Schoology to check your child's grades. And we have some videos that we can share in a couple weeks on how to do that. And then the parent portal, that actually came up quite a bit for new families that want to join. We have some, you just need to make a request. You can call the office, you can tell your teacher. And she'll get it to Miss Tammy, and Miss Tammy will be in charge of getting those activation codes to you. And I think those were some of our most asked questions. The time is 7:02, so we want to make sure we get you back to your families this evening. We just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. It is such a pleasure working at Binkley, and we're so excited to have everyone back in the building on Monday and Tuesday. So just a reminder, it's a drop-in between 2 and 6 p.m. Please wear your masks and come ready to meet your teachers and ask any questions that you have. So we'll see you Monday night. I'm going to stick around just a few more minutes if there's any last minute questions in the Q&A. But again, thank you and welcome officially to the Binkley family. Oh, Mr. Urquhart, you muted. There you go.
Sorry, I have to get used to that. We are at the end of our presentation today. We would love to thank you all for joining us today. And again, thank you for trusting us with your child's education. It really means a lot to us. We are going to end the presentation here. We are going to stick by for another 5 to 10 minutes. If you put any more questions in the chat, we will be here and answer it. Again, thank you for coming, and we look forward to seeing all of you on Monday and your child's smiling faces. Thank you and have a great night.